I am Stacy Turnage. I am actually a real estate broker, which means I have more education. I had to pass another test after I became a real estate agent. So I actually own and operate my own brokerage here in the city. As a matter of fact, we're getting construction and all that stuff started last week, so I am very excited. But I typically use this as an open forum. You guys have gotten so much information from the lender, you've gotten so much information about credit, and now let's talk about the house. So the gentleman in the blue mentioned that realtors just say, buy the damn house. That's not what we say at all. We say, date the rate and marry the house. That's what we say. I don't know what realtor he's talking to, but what I tell my clients is to date the rate and marry the house. Why is that? Because that rate is subject to go up or subject to go down. So in the scenario that he used, he was talking about 7%. You get in at 7, rates adjust, you can refi back down to 6, but you married that house, you dated that rate, now you get rid of that date, right? And you're gonna get a 6% with that refinance. So that's what I typically tell my clients is to date the rate and marry the house. So the one thing that I want, it's a couple of things that I always tell people. How many first-time home buyers or how many homeowners do we have in here? We have one, rental property or owner-occupied. On everybody's, okay. So let's talk about the purchase contract. Because what I think people fail to realize is that it is just that, a contract. So when you sign and you initialing and you agreeing and you doing all of that and your heart's pounding and you're like, oh my God, I'm buying a house, you are under contract. So keep that in mind. They are legal binding documents. That's the first thing I'll say. Second thing I'll say is even before you get to the contract, you need a real estate agent that is going to be your advocate. Somebody who understands the industry, understands comps, understands listings, understands buyers, know how to negotiate, know when to advise, know when to back off. I tell my clients, this is your transaction. I won't live in this house when it's all said and done. So I want you happy. I don't want anyone to wake up and say, Stacy made me buy this house. I don't want that. So what I tend to do is I gather information and I follow your lead. Now, a lot of times what will happen is we trying to go down 56th Street North and you trying to veer off over here on Riverside Drive, and I have to be like, but that ain't what you said. That's not what you said. So it's my goal as a real estate agent or a realtor when I'm representing clients is to give them what they ultimately want from a buyer's perspective. And as a listing agent, it's the same thing, right? If you want to sell your house, you've got to do some things to get it ready to sell typically, and you got to listen to your realtor, right? You telling me that the lady 2 doors down around the corner and 2 blocks north of that and to the left and on the right-hand side of the street, she sold her house for, $150,000 for more than what you think my house is worth. I don't know if I can believe that because I have access to the numbers. I have access to the data. So when I set a price on a home, I have pulled the comparables within that subdivision, hopefully, on that block, half a mile away, a quarter of a mile away. If I can't find anything closest, i.e. on the block or in the subdivision, I go out further and further. I'm not always saying realtors get it right. I'm just giving you the method to my madness. So when I nail down or come to what I think the price should be, when I come to the seller, and the seller's like, well, I think it's worth 100 grand more. And I'm like, okay, I need some data to back that up, right? Because thinking it's worth 100 grand more and it actually being worth 100 grand more are two different things. That's major. And what, your cousin bought her house for, she bought that house in that market, whether it was 6 months ago or even 30 days ago. That's how fast the market changes. So keep that in mind when you're out looking. Get a good lender. Make sure your lender understands your situation. Sometimes I tell folks the lenders are gone, right? Sometimes less is more. You ain't gotta tell them everything. They'll find out most stuff. But for example, I've seen people that have 25 bank accounts. And I'm not kidding, because I was a lender for 20 years before I became a broker, okay? 25 bank accounts, but they don't need the money in all of those 25 bank accounts to purchase that home. So if you only need bank accounts, if you only need enough money and that money is reflected in 2 or 3 accounts, those other 22 accounts are kind of like unnecessary. So be cognizant of that. Most people won't say that to you, but I'm all about being real. I've done everything in the industry from affordable housing with Los Angeles County. I was a VP of mortgage banking operation. I've done foreclosure with a portfolio for Goldman Sachs. So I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. I was in the industry when the mortgage side crashed. I was part of the initial crash. I opened an office in conjunction with Magic Johnson for community lending in Houston, Texas. Houston picked me, I did not pick it. Chicago also picked me as well, and so did Los Angeles. So I've ran the gamut and I've seen some things. So when I'm dealing with clients, I use all of that experience in transactions and in helping and guiding and showing and saying, hey, check this out or think about that. The North Tulsa Forward Program was kind of sort of my brainchild. So it's very humbling to come in and see that it has really turned into what I envisioned it to be. So I'm gonna open it up to questions, and you guys ask whatever real estate related question that you have. Yes, ma'am.
So when you say find a good lender, how do we know? Because if this is our first experience, we don't know what we don't know. So can you give us some clues as to how do we know if this lender is gonna be good for us?
Yeah.
You told us if they're an advocate, but is there anything more we need to know?
Well, typically what happens is in my world, people find me first, and then I partner them with my preferred lender. And they're a preferred lender for me because they will do things that some lenders won't. Things as simple as answering the phone at 10 o'clock at night. Things as simple as I have a client who is in California purchasing 40 acres in Muskogee. She's not gonna be in Muskogee to close, but that lender made sure that those documents were there. She did a mobile signing for her. It's those types of things. So you typically find your agent first, and that agent has a